Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the second round of the ARC Formula 1 Championship. And this time it is the Bahrain GP. And it looks like one of the Ferraris was the first to leave the pit lane. The other one. Fidel Fabian was the first to leave the pits. He is substituting for Nathan Carr this not evening, afternoon. Well, he was in Europe. Anyway, Nathan couldn't show up, so that's one of the reserves. I can't always keep track of the other ones. The third in line on the hot lap train is Lee Kelly, who stuttered a bit going into turn 12. That is not a safe place to do that. Okay, we're done spectating that man because his engine revs are confused. Fidel Fabian will have enough clear track ahead of him. He will not be obstructed on his opening lap. Nor will Scarborough, or really anybody that I can tell, unless Gabe is really going slow and Scarborough catches him at the wrong time. Okay, no, that's not an issue. I should probably figure out what tires everybody's on. There we go. I was like when I had that menu up, I was like, am I missing something? I believe, Lee Kelly and the other Alfa Romeo driver retired because he has a qualifying penalty from the previous event in Australia. Fabian will head through the last corner. A little bit odd on the entry, but the provisional lap time is a 27.60 on medium tires. Following that is the first driver of Ferrari, Jake Scarborough, will head around and get nowhere near that. Wait, no, that's... Okay, no, they're literally 200ths apart. Never mind, they're very close. I don't know what I'm talking about. So, Jackson Tate, who has... That was disgusting. Now we'll follow Mikey DeJong as he heads to the last corner. And we'll see, he will manage something considerably faster than the Ferrari drivers. Yeah, he'll go 9/10 faster with a 27.6. I cannot read. 26.72. Also, Jackson Tate puts up a 28.7. And that car about down there was on in lap. As there go the two McLaren drivers. Francis slightly faster with the 26.8, and then AJ with the 27.5. And they're watching Connor Hannock begin his first lap of the race, or qualifying. God! I'm a bit off. I have to get into the flow of commentary, and then I'll stop sounding like a moron. I swear. And there goes Gabe Casillo with a 27.37. I read the numbers correctly this time. And a bit of a lockup from Hannock there. Going into that corner. remember the numbers. You think I would, but I don't. Wait, 5, 6. Let me turn 8. Man, I am smart. What is wrong with me today? Apparently that's a purple sector 1. He is on soft tires, so I'll believe it. Because, like, Connor Hannick, he's not a bad driver, but he's no Mikey. Yeah, he runs the 2633 on the soft tires, so he's already made his intentions awfully clear with that. Your medium tires mean nothing to me. And I think this is he on an in lap, or is he trying another out lap? He has no ERS activated, but it says he isn't on an out lap, so he must have either screwed it up and he abandoned it, is what I'm guessing happened. That's about the only thing I can figure. You know, I can say with utmost certainty he is not purple through that sector. Okay. Yeah, he abandoned that lap. He was trying to make sure it was easy to beat so he doesn't get penalized for it later. And Travis Van Oostendorp is about to begin his first flying lap. He may run into an obstruction in the form of a Williams car, though. Which would probably be Tim Olsen, based on previous... Never mind. I mean, yes, but no, not in the way. A bit loose there out of turn 8. I think Van Oostendorp is the only person on the track right now that is on a hot lap. Everybody else is on an out or in lap. So the camera will just remain on him until until I see somebody else that's on a lap. There's a lot of people on out laps, but I'm gonna have to wait for them to get to the start for it to really be worth looking at. He will run a 28:35. He only manages to beat Jackson Tate and Tim, who both, I think, kind of screwed up on their laps. So we'll now watch Matthew Stott as he exits the last corner and begins his flying lap. He's apparently on a full ERS throughout his out lap, because he's got like half. Which I think may mean he'll be like a tenth or two off if he ends up running out midway through the lap. I don't think so, though, so he should be okay. We also have Francis Ferrand is also on a hot lap. And, Christian Pacheco. Why isn't there a page down button? Ay, ay, ay. Pacheco and Ferrand are on medium or on soft tires, but Stotts is still on the yellow compound. Francis goes top of the board at 25.79. Pacheco with a 28.55, he clearly made some mistakes, and then Stotts with a 27.37, but on the mediums. Then we have AJ Knickel on his flying lap, and he apparently ran a... I didn't even look at the lap data. He ran a godlike Sector 2. He's a second faster than when he ran on the previous one, and that was apparently purple. So we'll see if that that holds true. And 26 flat. So provisionally, it's a McLaren front row lockout, like back in 1985 or something, or like 1991. Take your pick. Okay, I have a Pacheco, I think, is out of gas, it looks like. Meanwhile, I did not catch Connor Setchell running a 27.45, also on medium tires. And Kyler Boggs running a 27.22, also on medium tires. I actually was in a party with some other drivers earlier, and I was expecting, I expect Pole to be a low 25, and Francis has sort of proven that right. He wouldn't need to improve much to be in that zone. That's an in-lap. Yeah, we'll just keep it on Setchell. I think he's on a fast lap, and I can't tell. Nope, he's not. Nope. Never mind. Looks like Tim Olsen is. He's actually getting some dirty air from his teammate, Donald Stern, who is also on a fast lap. And I believe Jonathan Parker is as well. He just started his. He's going to have an obstacle. I cannot tell what kind of car that is. It looks like yeah, it's a Haas. Travis Van Nistelrooy is going to clear the way. Apparently Parker ran a purple sector, but he's on medium tires, so I'm not inclined to trust that. And speaking of medium tires, on the soft tires we do have the pole sitter is on an outlap, and so is Connor Hannock trying to challenge that. De Jong has still not issued a challenge yet, as one of the Ferraris has exited the pits, the Fidel Fabian, as we see Tim Olsen in the sand. Parker reaches the last turn. I would predict probably another 27, because there's a lot of those right now. Nope. 26.71 on the mediums. He's out-qualifying Mikey De Jong right now. Well, Connor Hannock recently sorted his next lap, so we'll put the cameras on him once again. Kind of alternate between him and Francis Ferrand, who's also about to begin his. .208 going into T1? Oh my god. AJ Knickel's exiting the pits, and I assume like, that has to be Jake Scarborough directly behind him. This Gabe Cazzola, who ran a 26.25 on softs and then retired the vehicle. Connor extended there, and he's going to have to just abandon that. he's gonna be right in the way of this AlphaTauri as well. He's blocking Jackson Tate, who is on a lap. He ain't gonna be too pleased about that. So we'll shift our attention back to Francis, as he is about to be, he's out of Sector 2. He's 3/10 up on his already provisional pole lap. So, just gonna set the bar even higher for anybody who's left to even challenge it, which, right now I think it's only really down to Mikey De Jong. Nobody else has the time to get out on track and do another lap. And a 25.3 is possibly pole. AJ will have something to say about it. I just noticed he's on an outlap, so he'll have a chance. Mikey De Jong started his outlap. It'll be a time crunch, but I think he can maybe get around just in time. But he does kind of have to haul butt if he's going to do it. Dick Scarborough begins his lap on a worn set of mediums. I don't think he switched his tires. Fidel Fabian about halfway through his, and he's on a fresh pair of softs. Why do we call it a pair of tires? There's 4 of them. Like, what? Kind of bogged retires the car. I think he had an attempt at a lap and didn't go as planned. Fidel Fabian qualifying 3rd on the soft tires at 26.15. Mikey De Jong will get around the track in time, so he'll have a chance to also contest for pole, but he's gotta nail this one. You know, AJ Knickel heading through the second to last turn, just barely within boundaries, exiting 14. Will this be enough? No, he runs a 25.66. So now the camera's all on, the 2 Renault drivers are the last ones to complete their laps. Setchel is on mediums though, so he's not looking to contest for pole at all. But De Jong certainly is. God, I wish my car rotated like that through there. That'd been nice. As he hits the last turn, Mikey is up like an entire second, I think I saw on his Sector 2. But he caught himself track extending. And Setchel will improve by a couple of tenths. I don't know where that got him on the grid though. 9th. So he gained 1. So there you have your starting grid. However, most of the field is starting on the medium tires. You can make softs go to hards and finish the race that way though, so mediums are the safer option, yes, but I think the softs can still do it. Plus, we'll have early safety cars, so, I mean, yeah, the medium to hard thing works in a vacuum, but realistically, you're gonna have some safety cars along the way that will probably sway that in one direction. can see some heavy wet tires in the Mercedes garage over there. Like, you'd actually need those here. Like, what actually are the odds? Like, 2% chance? Donald Stern is legged out. I don't know if he'll even be allowed to get back into it. Based on this current moment where his car has not spawned into the grid yet. No, never mind, he might be back. Yeah, he's there. So the formation lap is the two McLarens were almost perfectly in sync for a moment. Looks like Francis has underfueled his car. It's a bizarre choice. Donald's currently a ghost. I don't think he'll be there. Unless he's paused. That's possible. It's so funny that because his teammate didn't qualify, Lee Kelly is not actually starting last. He'll be interesting to watch because he could have easily won Australia last week without critical failures. But now he's going to start from last, and he will endeavor, well, basically last. But I'm pretty sure unless he gets wrecked, he's not going to stay there. Well, as he and Braden Sisko get disqualified from the formation lap. I don't really know. I mean, it doesn't exactly denote who would be at fault where, so. Yeah, formation lap draws to a close. I'm directionally challenged. What? And we have the 5 red lights. And we are green for the Bahrain GP. Looks like Francis got away very well compared to his teammate. We got an AlphaTauri just about in the pit lane back there. It seems relatively clean through the first few corners, so far as I can tell. You still have Donald Phantom over here. That's the leader. Okay, so yeah, Donald could not get into the race, so that's a yikes. UI, I need you. There we go. Matthew stops up on the curb there. The interval doesn't seem to know what it's doing. Lee Kelly way off into the tarmac over there and collides with Jackson Tate. Couldn't really place blame on that one, but I mean, you've seen it here for record. I always gotta watch the car on the first lap or on restarts through here because the cold tires and dirty air will definitely send you to the junkyard if you're not paying attention. You got Connor Setchell, who I'm not sure if he was going around or defending from Jake. No, I think Jake was letting off to let him go, so... And Francis leads the first lap. He's already got a second lead over AJ, as the interval is confused. I'm pretty sure Christian is not second place. No, he's not. But what is happening is Jake Scarborough getting around Connor Setchell. As they hit the sector line, it'll fix itself. No, Jake really bad on the curb there. And we have a yellow. Where in the heck? He spun way out there. How did that happen? And there's the safety car, as just as the stone tablets predicted, basically. Keenan gets a penalty for hitting John Parker under the safety car. But he's ahead of him? What? Also, I don't really know what happened back here with Kelly and Cisco. Do they have to pit or something? Oh yeah, they did. They damaged. They got damage. I can't even tell who's pitting because the leaderboard is moving around so much. Well, the McLarens are double stacking. There may have been a lack of communication there. Ah! This is not who I'm spectating. What? Why is the... Thank you. I was gonna say, I'm not spectating that racing point. I'm spectating Francis' game. So with those pit stops, Gabe Cazzola is the leader. Pitting this early is a risky maneuver because, well, I mean, making yourself have to pass this many cars can often lead in disaster, especially in this league. Seen it hundreds of times, the fast driver gets stuck in the middle of the pack and he can never find his way out. Either because he gets into more incidents as he's stuck back there for longer, or he fails to get around them because the midfield car's got a chip on their shoulder and think they can stay ahead of the second coming of Michael Schumacher. Jackson Tate heads into the pit lane. So the game did eventually let Donald Stern enter the car, so... Remember her yawning, it's like I'm watching an actual F1 race. Only reason I am is because it's a safety car. Can't say the same for the real F1 races though. Sometimes. Safety car will be going in this lap, and we, hopefully it'll be green. Hopefully it won't come back for a while. We get to actually see, you know, racing, which is kind of what everyone came here for, I imagine. Well, let's shoot quite it again. Mikey's got a big run on Gabe Cazzola. Gabe will be forced to be defensive here. Meanwhile, the other Renault is sending on the inside of Jake Scarborough. Space was not left going through T2 for him, though. And Mikey will claim the lead. And due to being squeezed on the curb, Jake is at risk of losing further places. He already lost one to Keenan, and he had to defend for his life from Van Oostendorp. And now we had Tim Olsen getting around Matthew Stotts. We have AJ battling the ghosted Alfa Romeo. Connor Hannick's at the back. I think he got involved in a wreck. A mighty run for Scarborough out of the final corner, but Keenan dumps his ERS, and he might keep the position because of that. We had Francis Ferrand trying to pass Matthew Stotts, but nothing doing, and there's no chance at turn 4 either. Into Knuckles sending it on Fidel Fabian, and they bang wheels, and that's a rip. It might have been a racing incident, but I would probably also be tempted to say Fabian maybe turned in a little early, but I can't really tell at a moment's notice. But no doubt in my mind I'll be looking at it later. So there's nothing I can say about it now, but I'll be saying plenty about it later. Now Braden Cisco is out of the race. It's manual retirement based on where he is, and there's a VSC. That's not going to matter too much, because nobody's near the pit lane anyway. VSCs are a little bit easier to handle when you're near other cars, because you can just see what they're doing, how they're getting on the gas and on the brake, and... Apparently Connor Hannick didn't listen to that, though, so he gets a drive-thru penalty for speeding into the safety car, or virtual safety car, you know what I mean. And there's not a ton happening right now, other than Tim Olsen with the ungodly move into turn 1, which I guess got him ahead of Jake, but at what cost? I think Jake may be putting that one later. And then he hits the curb big time and will lose the place anyway. So Fabian looking for a run on Stern. And passing here is always a dangerous prospect, so it's better to just, yeah, let that happen, and then it's free real estate, and there's an easy 10th place for you. Francis Ferrand really thought about passing into turn 12? 11. Wait. What? I need to look at that map that I was sent at the beginning of the race. That would be really helpful, probably. Keenan Kimber might have a penalty, but he is running 4th right now. Considering I'm fairly certain he is a reserve driver. That's... I think, anyway? Or is that ECR? I don't remember. And we have Tim going for another move on Jake Scarborough into T1. And Jake is once again forced over the curbs, and therefore there is no chance at a retaliation at all. You know, I've got Van Oostendorp versus Stotts going into T4. A lot of curb for Travis will mean that Stotts will keep that place pretty easily. Jonathan Parker just got around Donald with very little resistance. Lee Kelly is not quite making the rapid progress I expected. Well, maybe that'd be why when he's locking the brakes up like that. That's a curb for Jake Scarborough. Maybe it's safer though, because he'll be far away from this mess as Tim Olsen's completely out of ERS. Keenan's not doing a ton better. Matthew just stopped it. Matthew just sent it around the outside of that corner. That's not recommended. Free real estate for Tim Olsen. So we have AJ around at the high-speed rights. Jackson Tate attempting to pass the Phantom Alfa Romeo. Jonathan Parker trying to remain in the slipstream as Kyler Boggs blocking on Lee Kelly, so combined with locking up the brakes means that there will be no progress made there. Matthew Stotts finds some desert sand, perhaps with a chance for Travis to pass, but no. Somehow Ferrand came out of all of that in 4th, and I really wish I had seen how that happened. That would have been an interesting sequence of events, I would have to imagine. Tim Olsen getting into Keenan a lot, going through turn 8. And will give Scarborough an opportunity to go around. And Keenan will back out because Jake Scarborough just about runs into the back of the Williams driver. Now Keenan just tosses Jake off the track. So much for being passive, I suppose. And now Connor Sutchell versus Gabe Cazzola through the high-speed rights. Oh, God. I don't think Gabe deserves that penalty. I don't really think he was at fault there. Sutchell pulled basically a slide job on him in the high-speed right-hander. I don't really think that's Gabe's fault. Maybe I'm totally wrong, and I'll probably look like an idiot on further review. How is that a VSC? What? That car is wrecked right in the middle of the course, and the game's like, nah, it's nothing serious. But what? This game doesn't make any sense sometimes, dude. How is it that Christian Pacheco wrecked off the track by like several hundred yards, was behind all the other cars, and was right next to a marshal's post that I know is there out there, and that's the full safety car, but Connor Sutchell loses a wheel, slides back across the racetrack, and that's a virtual. Oh my god, this game doesn't make any sense. Nope, Tim got caught speeding. And now Fidel Fabian is up to 5th from all the pit stuff going on there. AJ, by not pitting there, has found himself relevant in the race again after not a great first third of the race for him. The ghost of Alfa Romeo is 6th place. The AI is just vibing. Nothing bothers him too much. Fidel thought about a move into T10 or T11. That's never a good idea. You may be a DRS zone, but we do not grant you the rank of passing zone. Stuff's pretty spread out now after that BSC. It's Tim Wilson getting his drive-thru served. Neither of these two drivers have anything left in terms of ERS. In terms of ERS, we have no ERS. Scarborough has caught Tim Wilson following his drive-thru. Coughed the wrong way. I coughed into the mic instead of away from it. I am smart. Stotts has caught Travis for 11th. The point's not right on the line yet, though, so I wouldn't even... If I'm Stotts, I don't push that issue too much. And Jake had a little bit of ERS, but Tim had a lot more. Speaking of ERS, Vidal will have another chance to pass Kyler, but he's 4/10 back and not closing super fast. Plus, he has literally no ERS in his tank, but he's actually still going to have a shot. Vidal pushes him way wide, lets off the steering completely, and still couldn't make the maneuver. Nothing doing up here. But there is something doing here, as it's too wide through T1. Sector 2 yellow. Lee Kelly is around, and based on who is around him, that's self-error. Rather than... Actually, maybe not, because he got... Mikey DeJong was also off track. How'd those two get into each other? What? Or was he always there? I'm just stupid. I'm gonna feel like a moron when I look at the stream and post. Oh my god. Once again, not really much of a chance to pass here. And it's funny how my two drivers are the only ones in battles right now. And that's probably also part of why Kyler's kind of maintaining himself in this battle, because those tires are the same age, but they are different compounds. Right now they're about even, but to give it a couple more laps, and I'm pretty sure Kyler will be getting away from Fidel rather than being caught. And Keenan has entered the pits and retired. Considering he was in 4th at one point or another, that's kind of depressing in a way. We only got AJ catching the ghost of Alfa Romeo past. For a second he was actually racing the AI with respect. No. He goes right through there and the AI still touched him anyway. Sometimes. That would have definitely been a crash if that AI was, you know, solid. Now Tim has found himself also out of ERS. He's actually got slightly less than Jake has now. And as these two have been continuously fighting, Gabe Pizzola has caught them. The fact that Tim is fighting in this off as well as he is kind of insane, because he's got really old hards compared to really old softs. Mediums, oh my god. This isn't 2016 anymore, Riker. Really old mediums compared to fresh softs on the cars of Scarborough and Cazzola. And Jake is finally unchained. Fidel has been held up by Kyler for so long as well that Mikey De Jong is starting to close in. Earbud cord is stuck on something else. Scarborough may now be under threat from Gabe. Their tires are the exact same age, so it'll just be down to whichever car is moving faster, and that's an interesting curve right there. Yeah, Mikey's there now, and he's got a ton of ERS to burn. Easily around Fabian. Does he get around Kyler? No, he's gonna have to battle this one. Not much of a battle, though. The Phantom Alfa Romeo is in the pits. If anyone really cared at all. What the heck? I think Jake caught a spin and Gabe just slammed him off the road. I gotta look at the back of the car just to make sure he doesn't have another puncture. There's literally no way. I'm kind of shocked we haven't seen more cars come undone through T12 there. I think AJ is the only one that I've noticed. How is that DRS range? Nani? Well, that's effectively put Fidel out of contention for that third place. He's out of ERS, he's barely got DRS, but with Kyler getting his own, that's game over for that one, I think. Neither of these drivers have any ERS left to speak of either. They have a nasty habit. Well, Fidel's actually still kind of there. I don't know how. I figured with a tire difference, Kyler would have been long gone by now. Depending on how far Fidel makes these mediums go, he can either go on to another set of mediums, or best case scenario, he can make it to like lap 20, 21, and he can fit another pair of soft tires. If he even has any left over. You know, Jake is all up in his business, going through the one corner you don't want to be directly behind somebody in. And now these two have argued long enough for Matthew Stott to catch up. That's the wrong direction. Gabe has nothing left to offer at this one, so that's free real estate for Jake Scarborough. I don't even think he was even in Rich Mix there. He might have been in Standard. And he had no ERS left. Plus Jake's DRS. Gabe had his own DRS, but he had no opportunity to pass him just there. And Kelly locking up the brakes into T8 again. Fidel always gets a good run out of T10. The only problem is T11 is not a passing zone. So it is very ill-advised to even try and use anything there if you have it. In the near future we may have Johnny Parker versus AJ for 12th. Certainly not the position I expected those two to be fighting for today. Francis just having a cruise up here. I'm directionally challenged. And Lee Kelly in the pit lane probably has squandered that set of tires by locking the brakes. I'll put Jacob to 5th, Cazzola 6th, Stott 7th, so on and so forth. I think he will come out around this fight. And he's gonna exit right next to AJ. That's gonna be interesting to look at. AJ just gets clear. Yeah, no time to warm up your tires now. Lee, you gotta go. There's a very angry Parker behind you. Meanwhile, back near the front, as well, I mean, they've been on a blanket. That. Oh my God, they have been under a blanket this whole time, but never gotten good runs out of corners at the right times. If one of them got a good run out of the last corner, out of turn 3, we'd maybe have an overtake. But that hasn't really been happening. That, and nobody's been saving ERS, because the moment you stop using it on a straightaway is the moment you lose DRS. Ferran to pits, so I clearly was incorrect about his situation. He'll be exiting just ahead of Scarborough, though, so there'll be no contest there. It'll be down more so to if Francis can use the softs to get up to this fight, which I'm thinking he probably can. I can't fathom those tires are going much longer. So he can probably get softs from here and go to the end, but he'll be exiting, like, 11th. I really could just leave it on that, huh? More generally useful information than who's moved up where. Why were we passing McDonald just now? What? I'm just not paying attention. I think Parker's spun or something. Stott's giving the front wing to Gabe as both these drivers pit for new soft tires. Tim Olsen has retired. I do not know, he's hit the inside wall there. Well, that's quite fortuitous for anybody who just put on soft tires. And I think anybody else, if you have a brain cell, you're also going to go on to the soft tires. So we're basically going to have a 9-lap sprint at the end of the race, is what I'm seeing here. Not even 9, so I'm like 8 or 7. Goodness. I'm taking a nap after this. Unrelated note. What else do I have to talk about? It's a safety car. And no one's near the pit lane to pit yet, so... I think the only person who I could reasonably say can afford to not pit right now is... well, never mind. I was gonna say, track position is pretty important, and, like, he has the pace to maintain himself a little bit on those hards, but he's pitting anyway, so... Thus meaning Francis inherits the lead. This one enters the pits in an orderly fashion. Do these two go in? That's a hard call to make. Well, AJ goes in. So I think Lee Kelly is the only person who's a pit stop down, as he switched to mediums a few laps ago. That and the Ghost Alfa Romeo, who wouldn't pit anyway. Travis went in. Parker was already on the softs. What the heck? So yeah, there you go. Everybody except for Lee Kelly and the other Alfa Romeo who was ghosted are going to be on soft tires to the end of the race. I think one lap on the softs may be a bit of a difference, so I think Mikey might be at a small advantage, but then again, passing here, as we have seen so far today, can be a bit of a task. So it's hard to say for sure. And safety car isn't going in yet, probably because we have many cars that aren't there yet. Casually checks Discord while I'm in the middle of a broadcast. There's nothing going on. Like, what am I supposed to do? Well, to the surprise of nobody, driver of the day is currently Lee Kelly, and unless he got in a crash, I don't think that would be really taken away from him, and if that did happen, I think it would go to Kyler Boggs, because the AI is up 11 places, because it started last. The AI may very well score points. It's not going to matter, but it could very well happen. What's going on back here? I think the safety car should be in on this lap, though, because everybody is here. And there it is. So everyone's on the limiter. It's like I don't know if I spectate the guy at the front looking backwards or a guy at the back looking forwards. Hope we got at the back looking forwards, because if something does happen up here in the middle, they'll get a better shot. Hopefully we managed to avoid the death restarts today. And Connor Hannock got almost spun around there. I'm not sure what just happened. But I got overtaken by Lee Kelly, so he's up another place to 4th. He might get a podium from last if he continues at this pace, and he's on the mediums reminder. I think Jake is faster at this moment, but Fidel has been at the front more consistently due to pit cycles, so it's very hard to say for that one. That, and even if Fidel were slower, he can't exactly let Jake go without being passed by other cars. So it's a bit of a problem. I don't know what I'm looking at here. You have Tate sending on Stern into T11, the one place I say not to pass. And yeah, that was like the cleanest pass we've seen all day. Maybe because Donald wasn't even trying, it's hard to really say, but it kind of would have looked like. Jake is trying to let off. You can't sandbag forever though, because Gabe's not going to slow down. Jake at the deployment limit. And there goes Fidel for a move on the Alfa Romeo driver. We'll go wide through one though, which means the Alfa Romeo can cross back over. I don't know about that one, Chief. That was an interesting racing line. Here comes Gabe Cazzola. Weird braking going on between Fidel and more lockups from Lee Kelly. They're too wide through the S's. I really don't like what this looks like. It's very sketchy, but mostly we have survived. Mostly. AJ and Parker getting kind of near this as well. Meanwhile, it's pretty evenly spread out at the front. There's honestly nothing happening. I think they're probably... Hopefully they're saving everything for the end of the race. But it's hard to tell. We have Gabe around through T12. I think that was the only thing that happened just there that brought out that sector. Yeah, we have 8 viewers. Oh my god. No DRS yet. Jake, I think, is dumping his resources too early. Kelly with more lockups. Is his brake pedal stuck or something? Up now there's DRS. But there's no chance of a pass just yet. It is a decently healthy gap between Jake and Fidel now. And even more so between Fidel and the next car. So Fidel can kind of let off a little bit, give Jake some breathing room, but I'm focused on getting around this Alfa Romeo driver. Still nothing happening up there. And the back's got very spread out as well, somehow. There's like a bunch of battles that could be, but there are, like, most of them just kind of aren't. And really the only place worth putting the camera on is this sort of train around 4th place. Because it's the only group of cars that are clustered together. Lee Kelly has got like 1,006 ERS. I don't really think, I don't think anybody's gonna be challenging that. Not right now. Fidel tried to send that back, but did not have the bravery. And there comes Johnny Parker. And there goes AJ on the other Ferrari driver. Jake's gonna try and cut that back, but it's half-hearted, so it's also not a good idea at that. Now let's see if AJ can pass the Alfa Romeo, who, despite locking up like 640 times, has just seemed to be unpassable today by literally any human being. And of course, as AJ attempts to overtake the Alfa Romeo driver, that opens the door for the other cars behind him to try and pass. And just an endless cycle, and it's really just a roll of the dice to see who's where when the checkered flag flies. They'll just hit a braking marker. There's nothing happening at the front. Literally not a thing. Oh, Fidel with a huge send into T1, trying to keep the lead away from Parker. Not the lead. 7th place. He gets DRS off of it, so... Parker's about leaving him space. Now they're going to go too wide through the S's, and that's always scary. They're banging wheels. They're still too wide. And finally, Parker is forced to retreat. AJ way off into the desert sand over there. But Jake in no place to seize the moment, so... we had a battle going on here. Mikey DeJong is pushing himself out of fuel almost to try and have any shot of passing the McLaren driver. Probably see another attempt from Parker down the main straightaway. Since Fidel has no ERS. I don't think he's had ERS this entire race. Jake also not exactly stocked. AJ had a little bit, and he's used all of it. Does he have the jewels to go on the outside? They bang wheels like 66 times, but no. And Jake fell out of ERS or DRS range. You can probably get there again for T11, but it's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things from here. Meanwhile, at the leaders, or with the leaders, at the leaders. Yeah, I'm adding you in a Discord message, apparently. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. They both have the same amount of ERS, but Mikey's not even using his at the moment. Probably because you can't pass here anyway, so there's no point. Travis around and murdered by turn 12. Francis moving. That was not needed to go that far down there. Mikey's still gonna go for it. And he forces Francis to retreat, but now he got loose there. DRS for Francis. Francis is pushed into the sand trap almost. And doesn't cross over aggressively enough. Link Kelly with more lockups, but there's nothing that AJ can do about it here. Parker was 2 Fidels inside once again, but there was still nothing doing. Does anybody get desperate into T11? I don't think so. Not from here. You know, I don't think there's the opportunity at this point. For really anybody. So yeah, with no argument, I don't think there's any way for it to such rags in here. Micah de Jong with a immense last lap defensive maneuver will win the Bahrain GP. Francis had it to the very end, and Kyler Boggs gets a podium. Driver of the day, obviously Lee Kelly, gaining 15 spots en route to a 4th place result. And despite starting in the 2nd row, Gabe with no points, last of the finishing drivers, thanks to turn 12. There's the quintessential wrecked car at the line from one of the AlphaTauri drivers. I mean, yeah, you couldn't really debate that. The way that the those little celebrations just cut away at the end really gives me the impression that they were just putting in as the last second thing of like, Fortnite dance. Dang, the AI just missed on points. The driver wouldn't have scored anything anyway, because he wasn't physically there, but it would have been funny. Yeah, so that'll do it for this race of the ARC Formula 1 Championship. The next stream will be the next Wednesday, where I will be bringing to you coverage of the 3rd race in the ARC Ferrari Challenge, which is going to be at Spa.